I want to be in America. Everything free in America. Oh, never mind. All right, we're live. Hello. Kalu Kale.
Hey,
All right. All right. All right. I got the Diaz brothers here. In case you are confusing me with one of them, I am not. My name is Antonio Bryce. I am a comic book creator. I am the writer of the upcoming series Brand, which I have heard will start printing actual physical copies
oh,
this Wednesday.
awesome.
Nice.
So trust me, I paid a very large amount to these people. And I've got Gemini mailers and stuff coming up. But yeah, we've got Brand is everything's set up, it's set to printers, and
That's awesome.
I should have physical copies to mail out to everyone before the end of the month, is what I'm being told.
That's got to be a cool feeling.
Oh, yeah.
After all this time, yes. But,
imagine.
I was at least happy when I mailed out the PDF to the backers and let them read it at least, so you see what all the crap you've been paying for. I got a lot of backers contacted me when they at least got to read it. So that was a good thing. But, we got Brand coming up. We've got Brand Way of the Gun, which will be also launching. I think I'm going to wait till Kanan actually touches down on the plane. And we're here actually signing books. We're negotiating that with his wife. She will let me. Well, I mean, she's agreed to it, but we're trying to make sure everything makes sense from because I already looked up the plane. Me and Kanan were on the phone the other night, and we were looking at the plane tickets and how much it's going to cost round trip and all this kind of stuff. And things are starting to come. Like my little tiny apartment is getting filled up with all kind of crap. I've got a full pallet of Gemini mailers, that are about 45 minutes away. But hopefully, I gotta call them and schedule for them to drop it off because they gotta drop the whole. Yeah, they charge like an extra $300 some because they're bringing it to my house. So I was like, okay, but things are happening now. I'm happy. The books are about to go out. They're physical copies of Brand. We'll be shipping them out, and then we'll launch the Way of the Gun campaign. I've got another campaign called Brand Children of Man that'll come later in the year. It's going to be written by Mike Barron. And
nice.
We were talking about it this morning. So.
That's awesome. Yeah, I heard you talking about that when Richard was on with you.
Yeah. Because he's doing a book. Although Mike says it's a secret project, I know what it is. But I was like, oh, God. And I mean, I understand. People try to mess Richard's businesses up, so I understand when he comes up with these ideas and stuff. Don't say anything.
Yeah,
because I can only imagine if it had started bubbling around. Hey, Sylvester Stallone, it's cool with Chuck Dixon, and Chuck Dixon is going to get Richard the rights to Expendables.
Yeah.
How many people would have spurred out and tried to, mess that up for him?
Yeah, sure.
So,
Definitely.
So I can definitely understand why when these little things come out, it's almost like CIA. Hey, he's doing this, but don't say anything.
Black projects for sure.
Yeah. So, Brandon and Phil Diaz, you were here before. You promoted Magic Cop, which is still available on Indiegogo, if I am not mistaken. Is that not correct?
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
We're
obviously,
really
you can.
So.
Oh, really? Yeah. Okay. So, but I mean, your book is fully completed, or 98% completed, or what's going on with that?
I have, as of yesterday, there are 4 more pages to draw, and then the book will be done. And we just have to get the colors back and then letter the pages. So it's like maybe 2 weeks out.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Printer, local printer. Who you using? Do you know?
So I think what we're going to do is we're probably going to go with Mixam because everything generally gets printed in the United States. So we like that. We like the American-made
They're
quality.
printing Brand. That's who's printing Brand.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. I was gonna actually use Print Ninja, and I had already started setting everything up, and I know Mandy Summers she sent me the link to mix them. So which if I'm not mistaken, she said she got from Vinny Tartamella. So it was like it was spreading like an AIDS virus or something. So he gave her the link, and then she passed it to me. This was last year, so she passed it to me, and I started checking them out. I checked them out, and a couple other. There was some Canadian printer, which I think Zach told me about. Because the first Jawbreakers was printed by this Canadian printer, so I was like, okay. And it was a couple of different ones that everybody kept sending me, but mix them. Salute to Simon over there at Mix'em. I know he's across the pond there, but he did a very good. We set our print file, and as long as it took to set the print file, kind of made a mistake with it. And it was a little tiny mistake, but it would have messed the printing up just a little bit. Sure. And they were going over the files, and Simon contacted me. He's like, "Hey, we were checking out your files, and you've got a couple of errors here that you need to look into." And he sent us the stuff, and I said, "Oh man, how did we miss that?" So I've looked at the book 100 times, man, and so salute to
that's awesome.
Simon and the Mix'em team. Yeah, I appreciate them. Because it would have been horrible. I was like, dude, you cannot understand. I need this book to look right. Because I got the little sample pack that they sent me the sample pack, and I thought the sample pack was really good. And then, it was crazy. So, but he contacted me this morning and told me that we were already in the queue.
Awesome.
And he let me know. He said, hey, this Wednesday, they're going to start pressing your interior pages. So, it's going to be 3,900 copies of Brand. So,
wow.
That's amazing, brother.
Yeah. I don't take that for granted because, I'll sell 3 copies on Way of the Gun. You never know. I was saying, you don't take it for granted, but like I said, so it sounds like you guys are on track.
Definitely. I know we planned on shipping in March, and it looks like we're going to be able to meet that deadline for everybody. So everybody who's counting on, getting their stickers and posters and stuff like that, we're going to be able to make sure that everybody gets all their stuff shipped out next month. And it's super exciting. And then, just seeing the kind of resurge that Comics Gate has had in the past couple of months, after the holiday season, and then, like these really, really heavy hitting comic books coming out. I think it's awesome to see like it kind of get rejuvenated from that end of the year lull that we hit.
Oh yeah.
And so that's kind of really pushing us to put out some really cool products. So Phil has been contacting these artists and getting like some sketch cards going around, and been selling a ton of those because I have always done my art digitally. So there isn't really any traditional art from my point.
I mean, you can still do sketch cards though, right?
Sorry?
I mean, you can still do a sketch card even though you're a digital artist. So.
Yeah. I just I don't have the practice, I'm practicing sketching on sketch cards right now, but I just haven't really ever done that. I've learned exclusively on digital, and so having those sketch cards, I think like that traditional art really gave us a shot in the arm to kind of rejuvenate some of those sales. And they've been working out really, really well. They've been flying off the shelves. 2 sold today, and we launched 2 today, and 2 of them are already gone. Well, we launched 3, and then 2 of them are already gone.
So where are you at money-wise on the Magic Card campaign?
We just crossed into 7,300 today.
Okay, so I got this one. Okay.
Yeah, so crossed 73.66, and we had these 3 sketch cards went up today by my buddy Wolf, who is going to be actually doing a story for the Lost Pages for our next book. And this Grey Wolf sold and Bone Daddy-O sold. So we have this guy here, O'Hara. He's our leprechaun giant, half leprechaun, half giant character. And he just looks totally ripped out of his mind. And if anyone's in the chat that wants to back Magic Cop, they could totally get this card. And if you've already backed, also the cool thing we do with the sketch cards is there's its own tier with free shipping, so we could just throw it into the box with your book already in there.
All right, guys. I
Yeah.
have Brandon and Phil Diaz here, the Diaz brothers, Zaid Comics, and they are letting us know about Magic Cop and their upcoming project, The Lost Pages, which looks really cool. So we're please hit that like button, smash that melee button, as Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers said, and share this stream out. Let's grow this chat and see, can't we get some stuff going on?
I was actually thinking of doing the fourth cover in traditional art, but I never got around to doing that. And then before I knew it, I ended up drawing the fourth cover digitally instead, just because it kind of, I had the few minutes to get to a chance to do that. And I really would have wanted to do that one traditionally, or even just at least the sketch of it, but it just came together so quickly that I didn't have a chance to, unfortunately. But when we do Magic Cop 2, hopefully I'll have had some downtime from constantly drawing, and I'll be able to work on some traditional art. And then, I'll start with the covers, I think, because the covers are, it's kind of different to do sequentials, and pinup art is really easy for me. So doing characters are simple. So I could probably get away with doing some covers.
So let me see here. Michael Connor in the chat says do a few traditional pages so you can sell them in campaign, which is what the model that we followed for Brand. We put up 20 traditionally drawn pages, managed to sell 13 of them. So it worked out okay for us.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Sold 13. Kanan penciled the pages and scanned them in, and then he digitally inked them. So it ended up working out, because they will be extremely rare. We've already sold. If anyone watched Ethan's auctions a few weeks ago, Kanan held up the pencils for page 3 of Brand Way of the Gun, which was a big splash pinup of Dark Santana and Horus, and he sold that thing for $850.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's the first appearance of both Dark Santana and Horus in our universe. So it definitely won't be the last.
That's cool.
Somebody paid for a little piece of history there. So we've got some
for sure. Yeah, even though Brandon usually doesn't do traditional art, we did have Elliot Fernandez do this awesome cover for our ash can, and we have the original art available for sale on here, and it comes with both of the books as well as the original art here. And then that's
original art from my good buddy Elliot Fernandez.
Yeah, for sure. He killed it on this one.
Oh yeah, he did a great job. Matter of fact, he just texted me this morning. I've been trying to get him to come back on the stream, but he's been doing everything on Instagram. He's let me come on his Instagram. Sometimes he stream on Instagram, like drawing a few times, and he'll be like, "Hey, you want to come on?" And we'll do the little two people hookup thing that they do. So I mean, he has a large. I mean, it's over 125,000 people following him on Instagram. So I was like, he's got pretty nice over there.
That's awesome.
Yeah, for sure. And then the other original art we have, it's all the way at the bottom here. It's been so while since we've been on. We've added a bunch of pages to the campaign.
The campaign was pretty new.
Yeah,
when you guys were on the first time. I mean, the thing is, I would see Phil like teasing it, because I mean, hell, you even went to where was that? The Star Wars celebration, and it's like, I mean, you were teasing this thing months in advance. I kept hearing super chats, Magic Cop. I was like, where's this damn Magic Cop? I don't know where it is. So
yeah, I mean,
it is interesting.
So this is the other piece of original art we have. Ted Lehman did this beautiful double-page spread, basically, for a crossover print for Door Kickers and Magic Cop. So if you guys back both campaigns, you'll get this free print. But we do have the original line art for sale.
What's his name?
Scott McCullough.
Yeah, Scott McCullough. Yeah, I was like, he's been on at least twice that I can recall.
Yeah.
But I'm about to say, let me get this question from Comics Legend. He said, how many pages is Magic Cops? Have you seen your art get better in the latter pages? Would you go back and fix any of the early pages to keep the look consistent? And before you answer that, that made me think of Kanan, because me and him I talked to Kanan for about 3.5 hours on the phone the other night. It was crazy, just arguing over little like things that I want to do, things that he wants to do. We have to end up meeting each other in the middle. But we started talking about the book, and one of my favorite pages in Brand is the very first page where we see Dawn like on the highway, and she's hitchhiking, and she's got her back to the thing, and she's got her little backpack and the whole deal.
Yeah.
And then on the very bottom panel is this nice, beautiful close up of Dawn, and it was just beautifully colored by our Kid Icarus, our wonderful colorist. And now Kanan saying, like, he looks at that page and he was like, I feel like I got better on the art as we went along, so it kind of threw me. I was like, that's one of my favorite pages. He's like, yeah, but he said, you look at the end scenes of Brand, like when she's up on the balcony and she's up there on the roof with Fame and she's talking to him. He's like, I feel like those pages are even, I really was in the zone at that point. I was like, yeah, but that was an incredible. He had a nice little overhead shot, and I thought it was that first page just opened it off the right way that I was really happy about. So I just, but Brandon, you've been drawing this thing all the time. So
yeah.
Do you feel like you've gotten better?
Well, yeah. So the first question, the comic book is now 92 pages of story. So the book itself is going to be a little bit more just because of each chapter has its own cover. So there's 4 chapters, and then, there's going to be a little bit of additional content probably. So drawing from, like, we could even look at this page that you're looking at here. This was drawn probably in, I don't know, May or something of last year. And this was the first bit of sequentials that I did. This was the test. Basically, I had drawn a page of this here. It wasn't this page, but I had drawn a page of this just to see if I could do sequentials. And if it was passable, we deemed it passable. And then we were like, well, let's do some more of this. And then this ended up becoming a 12-page preview issue for the comic book. I had drawn 8 pages, and then Phil went back and wrote 4 intro pages to that. So it became 12 pages. And then after that, we just like hit it into high gear with the actual Magic Cop Drop Dead Legs.
Since this is available in the ash can, the 12-page pile.
Yeah, you can get this in the ash can if you get that's a behind the scenes book. So I've been drawing Drop Dead Legs probably since August, or maybe even July. And back when we started, it was a really, really slow process because, we got to go to work and stuff too. But I was doing 2 pages a week, and, and then stuff, you'd fall into, a little bit of problems. So you'd get a little behind. Just yesterday, I did 3 pages in one day. So my efficiency has gone up significantly, and my ability to draw has definitely leveled up. I wouldn't say significantly, but there are definitely little nuances that are in the later pages that are not necessarily in the first few pages. There's a specific panel I would like to go back in with the first chapter and redraw a character's face, just because I think that it looks pretty bad and I want to touch that up. It's actually this character that we're looking at on screen here. And not this page. This page I think looks fine. But
let me tell you what I saw, because like that very first page you showed me, that was one of your early pages.
Yeah.
You could tell that you were afraid to kind of experiment with the layouts a little bit more. It looks as you've gone on, you've got more dynamic angles, because it was like everything was like straight box. It was just like, I was like, somebody, the ruler was just coming out or whatever, so it just seemed, like I said, the pages got the job done, but they were very tame as far. That's, that's something I'm looking at. I've noticed some people had sent me different like art samples and stuff, and I could tell kind of based on level of experience how dynamic the layouts are and everything, you know. And I was like, I noticed that as you going on, I guess you've gotten more confident in your abilities.
Yeah,
And
there's definitely there's more pages in the 12-page pilot issue, Karaoke Express, and in there's a lot of like like you're correct. We were just kind of working with like a really basic understanding of what we should be doing here, a little bit of trial and error. The show, or the comic is supposed to be kind of like a throwback to like the 80s Miami Vice style TV shows. So the camera angles are a little flat, sometimes like they're not always going to be shot by these really dynamic camera angles that you would see in a comic book. But it's shot intentionally, to be like a TV show. And so, we were working with that. But in Karaoke Express, there's some panels that are a little bit crazy. Phil actually started doing the layout for the pages just to make the efficiency run a little bit better, because he did all of the writing with very little input from me. So he knew basically he had everything laid out in his head. Here's the kind of shots that I'm looking for. And then he would send me the script, and then I would basically prior to everything, I was doing the panels, and he's like, oh, I was thinking of doing a panel like this, panel like this. So we kind of came together and just decided that he would do the page layouts, and, he reads a lot more comics than I do. So he gets like these guys, from like Swamp Thing and, some other kind of offbeat comics that do these really interesting panel layouts. And he's like, I think this works really well for this kind of scene, or this would be really cool to accentuate certain things like that. That's what we're seeing here. He wanted to throw together this page to give you kind of like that uneasy feeling, and kind of make it real eerie and uncomfortable.
That's interesting. And I say that because, like I said, you can tell the difference, because I've seen a couple of books like that where it was just like, okay, let me put like 6 squares here or whatever.
Yeah.
It is what it is, and it's like, yeah, the art's there, but it doesn't. That's the thing. Like as you get more in your zone, and I think Kanan really excels at visual storytelling. So I'll see a lot of times I give him the script and I see it differently, and then he'll be like, yeah, he's like, I know you said to do it like this, but I felt like it, and I back off, because unless it's screwing up what I had planned for the story, then I'm gonna let Kanan be Kanan. It's like, and that's one of the things he told me. He's like, it's one thing I've loved about working with you. He's like, sometimes we don't agree on things. He said, but you let me do my thing. So
yeah, that's really important. From my artistic viewpoint, there's a lot of things where I'll draw something, and Phil might not necessarily like it or something, he might not necessarily had expressed his interest in drawing it like this, but I thought it would be a really cool way to put the characters on this page and show off, a cool shot or something like that. And, it ends up working really, really well. Kind of like this cover here that we have on this thing right here, where I had drawn this cover nude, and then he's like, I don't know if we should have nudity in the comic, especially something on one of the covers, so expressively loud right on the front. But doing the censorship to it by adding the knife, I think it adds a really, really cool character to the picture. Like when it's not censored, there's just no knife there, and it's a little bit more open. And then adding the censorship in there, so it goes back and forth with him having a cool idea, and me implementing it, or me implementing something that he hadn't thought of, or wanted something different.
Okay, so let me ask you, Brandon, since you are drawing this thing,
yeah.
Why did you decide that, or is that just something that was always the plan, that you were going to be the artist on this, or was there a possibility that you and Phil were going to go out and try to actually find another artist?
Well, so just in general, before we got into Comicsgate, Zaid Comics has been around since about 2011. We worked on some other, a comic called The Silhouette, and I was not doing art. I was doing graphic art, but not drawn art really at the time. And so we found artists to be really, really expensive, as I'm sure you can
yeah,
understand. And and so, us being small creators, we just did what we could at the time, and from there, we did like live actors on a green screen type comic book. As we progressed, and I got better at just generally drawing. I was doing a lot of pinup work and stuff like that. And when we came up with the concept for Magic Cop, basically, it just it didn't get greenlit as a video game, and then
so it's supposed to be a video game.
Yeah, we had it was designed to be or it was conceptualized to be an arcade side-scrolling beat 'em up video game with 4 main characters.
Like Streets of Rage.
Yeah, kind of like Streets of Rage, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, X-Men.
But you guys could make that happen, right?
Oh
yeah. We work at a video game design or video game production company, but we have a really big title that we're all working on right now. So a small project like this, it didn't get greenlit, and then so
not
from
anything
there,
you could let us know about, though, right? Or is it?
Oh yeah, we can. It's a publicly known thing.
Oh, okay. I was like, okay. I just thought, drop it out there. Let's know what it is.
Answer the question first. So from there, my art was getting better, and I was drawing on this Samsung drawing tablet. And from there, it was just kind of like, hey, we have a really cool IP here with Magic Cop. It's not going to be turned into a game. We don't want to forget about this. Phil really loves writing. He writes stories all the time. It's like, why don't we do a comic book? Because we both really love the comic book genre. I love doing art. He loves writing. And let's see what we could do with this. And then so that's where we wrote, or I drew out the first page for the pilot episode, Karaoke Express. And then after that, it was just kind of like, wow, we can do this. And we just really started doing this.
Yeah. The cool thing about the pilot episode is we actually had a few copies printed up at a local print shop over here, along with a preview to the Lost Pages, and I sent them out. I sent one to Cecil, I sent one to Ethan, and Ethan actually read it on the Jack Show a few weeks ago, and he was looking through it. He wasn't talking; he was just reading it, and then he started talking about it, and kind of like he read the first 2 pages on air, and he's like, I really like this, and I'm going to start promoting these guys, and Magic Cops looks really cool, and then we got a bunch of sales that night too.
Yeah, I know you popped up on Ethan's channel the other day. I remember I was watching, when he dropped the link in the thing, and I noticed you popped on there, and it was so I was happy to see that. I think people like the fact that he's like dropping news, like, hey, hop on in,
Yeah, that's always fun.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, but I was really glad to hear that he was digging the little like trailer story that we put in there.
So let's see, there was something else I was gonna ask. Let me see. Okay, so Magic Cop sounds like it's almost at an end. Who's doing your letters on this?
I'm doing the lettering. Early on I contacted Eric Weathers, and he gave me a bunch of tips on.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna say Eric, man. Eric, every book, man.
So originally I was gonna have him do the letters, but then I'm like, I kind of want to do the letters myself, just for the fact that I could, it's become kind of a really good editing process, because the letters are basically the last thing you put on there, and I could go over my dialogue and change some things. And then also, I'm getting better and better at it, that I could actually help the CG collective with other people that need letterers. And, when Eric Weathers has 100 books a year to do and can't do anymore, people could come to me, which is what happened. I actually got my first lettering gig on Passion for Drawing's comic book Doom Fate. So I'll be doing the letters for that book.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Who's doing your colors? I saw Tina Tomazuski.
Oh yeah,
butchered that. Who's doing your colors on Magic Cop?
So we got a lad named Eugene Bativu. He goes by Vegas Day Real on Twitter. And we just found him online. I kind of found a couple different colorists and sent him a page from the pilot issue early on before we even started on the big book to see if they could hit that 80s vibe. And he totally did. You know, he even colored this door kickers and magic op thing, and I'm just like, man, you know, kind of mimic the cover of door kickers colors and then just go full out 80s for the magic op side, and he killed it on here. Every time we get a page back from him, we're just amazed at how good these pages look, you know, straight out of the 80s. And I love his style because if you see the other books that he's working on, because some other CG creators have stole him up from us. So, Hero Blood of Patriots is using him as a colorist, and who's the other one? Grayscale. Yeah, Michael Derrick's Grayscale.
Just had Michael Derrick on a few days ago. Yeah.
Yeah. So
the logo for his comic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he did. Brandon did the Grayscale logo. He designed that. So, yeah, but the colors look totally different. So you look at Grayscale, you look at Hero, and you look at Magic Cop, you could barely tell that they're the same colorist because I think he just hones in on the theme of your comic and blows it up, you know?
Mm. Well, yeah, well, that's the thing. It's great to have a colorist that's versatile like that because I know Icarus has colored so many things, and once you know, we started getting a little spotlight on our project, everybody was like, "Oh, dude, who does the colors for that?" And then all of a sudden, so he's colored. There's a lot of comic books over the last few months that have, you know, they have Kanan covers, but they were colored by Kid Icarus. You know, he did Iron Skies. And, which I love. The Iron Skies cover was, I think, the first one that really got a lot of people's attention. You know, even though they had seen the brand stuff, they hadn't seen him color anything outside of our stuff, and it was like Iron Skies, and it was, you know, got a more of a steampunk vibe. The color, I mean, but he's very versatile. He can do so many different things. So I really, you know, can appreciate when the same guy can switch it up and do multiple. So.
Oh yeah, and then like this page, I wanted to point out because this is one of the newer pages that we put up like this month, and this is actually the way we're doing flashbacks in our book. And so instead of doing it like a sepia tone or black and white, we kind of tried to hit that like VCR tracking quality to these pages with the flashbacks. So we had our colorist do it a regular page, and then I went in there in Photoshop and kind of like split the RGB colors and put these kind of like tracking lines on here for flashback sequences. Kind of something different that we came up with, so we would kind of stick out from you know, doing flashbacks the same old way.
Interesting. But see, that's the thing. I always like how different creators, you know, their idea of storytelling may be different from mine, but it's just the whole process. Not to mention, you mentioned about you know helping Michael out for the logo and all this. I love how we as a group, you know, we've, you know, so many people have networked and met each other, and all this kind of stuff. And I really think you're not going to find that in comics house on the same level as it is here within this community, you know. So,
definitely not. Yeah, there's something special going on here.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Yeah, so I just really, you know, like I said, I remember my first interactions with Eric Weathers. I had done a morning stream with Ethan, and I had lost my colorist.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't want to be associated with Confiscating then. You know, my letterer was like, yeah, I don't want to put my name on that. You know, so we was going back and forth, and Eric sent me a DM, and he's like, hey man, if you need some help, I got you. And he didn't know me from Adam. He just tried to help me out. You know, so I was like, wow, I appreciate that. Now I ended up being able to work it out with the, you know, with the letterer where we would just, you know, give him a different name or whatever, you know. But you know, I always appreciated the fact that Eric you know, stepped up and offered to help. So salute to him. So yeah,
he's a great guy. It's really cool.
Absolutely.
Gave me a lot of great lettering tips. Him and Carlo Rowe also gave me some good tips on lettering.
Yes, the great Carlo Rowe.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's a god. But, so you guys are in the chat, and definitely want to check out a new book, check out Magic Cop. Like I said before, we have these amazing sketch cards. We're going to have a few more done by another artist, maybe in a couple weeks, but this O'Hara one, the Giant Leprechaun, is the last of the Wolf sketch cards available.
Well, let me ask you this then, because I see and thank you to Magic Bob. Well, I can't even talk. Comic Book Bob, for dropping the link to both Magic Cop and the link to the newsletter for the Lost Pages. You can sign up for that. So he's dropping those links in the chat. You're gonna see Comic Book Bob in an actual comic book. I am doing another. I've got like 80 projects in the works, but another project that I'm doing is going to be called the Boogie Book. It's going to be myself and Boogie Bentley. We do the Wrestling Council, every Thursday 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But it's Boogie Bentley, myself, Comic Book Bob, and Yule Carter. It's a Scooby Doo parody. So it's yeah. I've got a great artist attached to it. It looks like everything. I just got to sit down with Boogie and kind of figure some stuff out. Because I have some insane ideas for what I want to do. It's gonna be, like I said, it's gonna be Scooby Doo, but it's gonna be more like kind of blue humor in certain aspects. But yeah, it's like the Boogie Book. So I'm looking forward to doing that.
Fun. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I was like, I could always tell how edgy I was being, because I was like, okay, here's my idea for one of the so-called monsters that the Boogie book, deals with. And I would tell them, I'd be like, hey, so this woman has it, and they were like, oh, that sounds a little too edgy for me. I don't know if I've got kids. I was like, oh God. So I was like, I had a couple people tell me that, but the last artist, I told him the same thing. I said, okay, so let me lead with that. I was like, do you have a problem? He was like, oh, that sounds interesting. I was like, okay, this might be my guy. So we will announce officially the artist hopefully within the next few weeks, but everything is, sending him like reference photos and stuff. He sounds like he's excited to do it, and I'm excited to have him on it. So yeah, it's like, yeah, it's gonna be. I was telling him, I was like, I kind of want a Hanna-Barbera type look. I want it to, I actually want it to look like that. So it really, it's really fun trying to come up with these projects, and we gotta get Way of the Gun launched and everything first while we're shipping these books out. But it's, like I said, I'm excited. I got like 8 projects I'm working on right now, so I was just trying to be like the Diaz brothers. Trying to be like y'all, man.
We got some good stuff coming up this year. We kind of like for the year down and planned out what we're doing for 2020 and the books that were that are on track to come out. And the whole announcement with people wanting to do a convention next year, that's going to be crazy. Like that's going to be where everything builds up to, because by then we're going to have 3 or 4 books out to bring and show off. A few other CG creators and us, we want to go to Wizard World Philly this year in June. So we're trying to, get that together, maybe get like 4 tables, have a presence there with our books. So that's going to be a lot of fun. This year's going to be amazing.
Okay, hold on. So let's see. Okay, Comics Legend. So what is the high profile game they were working on? see, I don't think he wants to answer. So I was like, I didn't want to push. I was curious about it. I was like, oh, if you got something big going on, holler at me. No,
I mean, we could talk about it. I mean, only high profile or larger title in the sense that it's the main title that the production studio is working on. It's not like
it's Doom.
No, it's not a known IP.
It's not a known IP. Is the that's the thing. So it's going to be a huge letdown for expecting any big thing or anything like that. But it's a fighting game. It's a fighting game that uses digitized live actors, kind of like the original Mortal Kombat game.
Oh yeah. And what was that game? Pit Fighter. I remember there was a game called Pit Fighter.
Kind of like Pit Fighter, except in HD. And it's called Dark Presence. And That's what we've been working on for the past 20 years.
I remember seeing a film called Dark Presence, but it was it wasn't. Yeah, it was a little different. It was
on the
on
dark
the
web. Is it one of those dark web videos?
It was. Let me just say, you could probably find that on the hub.
Okay.
Get what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah, it was. It wasn't about. Yeah, it wasn't about no video game thing. Yeah, Dark Presence. Yeah, it's just. It was rather spicy. But I suspect you're not making a video game of that.
Not yet.
Oh
no! Maybe one day.
Maybe one day.
I played there was like a Japanese slot machine game that I played, and they get a little wilder out there in Japan for whatever reason.
For sure.
And so like you're playing the game, and like if you win, they show you pictures of unclothed women and stuff. Yeah, it was kind of crazy. I was just like, but the game itself kind of sucked. I was like, this is kind of repetitive, and it's not very good. But I guess the naked chicks make everybody spend tons of money on it, because I was like, the game, I played it and I was like, it's not very fun. But then you get it looked like they ripped off a bunch of scans from like Playboy or something.
Yeah, that's exactly what they used to do. There's a game called like Miss Universe 96 or something like that, and it's just like a bunch of naked women, and then you play like Tetris or something to see the pictures of them. It's a horrible game.
Yeah, like you said, the game was horrible, and then you get a high-res scan.
Yeah.
When you go to the next place, I was like, oh, okay, game's horrible. And I actually turned the game off. I was like, man, this is stupid. This game sucks. And I was like, God, it's bad. I was like, it didn't. And that's one of the few times where nudity doesn't improve things. The game was just so bad. I was like, you gotta make sure the game is fun, and then so that they'll want to go through playing the game to get the rewards. So I just but that's just me. That's my personal opinion. I just thought the game sucked so bad. I was like, oh God, this game's horrible. Oh, boobies. Oh yeah, that kind of thing. So it was that kind of thing. But okay, so the moment of truth.
Yes.
Tell us about the Lost Pages.
All right, the Lost Pages. Let's see if this transition works. No, it doesn't. Yes, it does. Okay, the Lost Pages. So this is an IP that Brandon and I created. Basically, the reason we created Zaid Comics was because these characters. Like Brandon said earlier, it's all started with a character named the Silhouette, who's right here. He used to not look this badass. He didn't look this cool because, like Brandon said before, we didn't pay an artist. What we did is we took pictures of ourselves in front of a green screen and made it look like a comic book. So it was very, very independent stuff. And but now, since then, so I had just been writing stories about these characters. The Silhouette being one of the main characters in the Lost Pages universe, and he's back, being drawn by Maxi Dallow. And basically, the comic book, The Lost Pages, is Zaid Comics' first connected universe of heroes. So it's like I guess you can compare it to like our DC universe, where there's different characters all over the world that live in the same multiverse, I would say, and they eventually meet each other. Some of them team up. We have our own villains, stuff like that. And the challenge of it was how to convey that in one book. So this first story is about a homeless man who has the actual book of Lost Pages. And he is telling these tales to passersby, anyone who will listen, other homeless people. And we eventually find out that they're stories about heroes that have been lost through time, that their stories have never been heard before. And in the end, they're going to bring about, or they're going to write the ending of the book. They come together. So this is their first introduction to our audience, and building the foundation for future stories.
So this is connected to the Magic Copy universe, or
so it's not outright. It can be. So it would be like there's one character that does cross over as if it's in a multiverse, but all the characters in the Lost Pages are on the same world, and they'll meet each other and interact. But for us, it was really a exploration of comic and storytelling genre. So we have the Silhouette, who's like our noir vigilante, our supernatural vigilante. We have Wildcard, who's an ancient sorcerer from Merlin times, and he basically explores like mythological horror. Joe Ball is doing the art for that, the amazing
okay,
artist,
yeah,
Super
definitely.
We have Crimstone, who is our 90s bombastic, ultra-violent, toxic masculine, high T character, throwback to like Lobo and those 90s ultra-violent characters. And then we have the last one that's going to be in the book. His name is Masquerade, and he's like a pulp hero, the shades of the Phantom, the Shadow, Spider, stuff like that from the early 1930s. And he's actually a character. His story takes place in the 1930s. So we get kind of the different genres bouncing off each other, but in a linear story. And at the end, it wraps up. There's a reveal of who this homeless man is, and more about the book and what happens when it gets into the wrong hands.
Interesting. By the way, all those character names you just dropped out there are all characters in Brand. I'm very disappointed in both of you.
Yeah, that's the first time I messaged Antonio talking about Wildcard. I send him a story, and he's like, "What the F, man? That's exactly Brand's story." And I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "No, man, I'm just playing."
Yeah, I kid. Yeah, Triumph, the insult comic dog. It's a horrible impression, but I always love Triumph. So, but yeah. I was like, yeah, I was just ripping you. You seem like good people. So I just wanted, how's I don't know how long the mailing list is, because I know we put the mailing list, the launch page up for Way of the Gun, and yeah, I was surprised we got a couple hundred on it pretty quickly.
That's awesome. Yeah. I haven't checked yet. The last time I checked, I think we were at 40 people, and it's been up for a couple of weeks now. But, we're still, pushing Magic Cop. So I really wanted to get the mailing list out there so it was in people's minds, because we're going to launch it after Magic Cop ships. So we're looking probably like at the end of April.
Yeah, well, I'm about to send out a mail update, because everybody keeps asking. I was like, okay, so let me send a backer update out and let everybody know. But one thing, I'm gonna have a link to the Way of the Gun campaign. I'm also gonna have a link to the Mia and Grok page that I've started promoting, because one of my artists, Demetrius Miller, is doing that. I'm going to be an executive producer on that one. It's going to have the Brand team on it. It's it'll have my letterer. It'll have my colorist. It will have a variant cover from Kanan. So we go. So
Yeah.
Mia and Grok is definitely going to. I think the art looks really cool. It's like space. It's more adult themed. Demetrius likes to draw spicy stuff like that.
Yeah.
But he likes drawing hot chicks getting spanked and stuff like that. So I was like, it's a little, it's a little different, but like it's weird because it's like a big green alien like spanking her butt or something. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah. I was like, I was like, who's writing this? And he's like, I'm writing it. I'm doing the art. And matter of fact, the art is done, at least in the pencil stage. I don't know how many. I meant to ask him how many pages the damn book was, but he told me, he said all the it's probably just going to be like 24 pages, but I need to confirm that with him. But he's drawn all the pages already. He's just in the inking stage. He's a great inker too, because he's going to ink Kanan. We're going to do a book called the Fame Book, which it singles out the character Fame that was introduced in Brand, and it's going to be the Fame book. It's going to kind of show how he came to be. And Demetrius will do the interiors on that, and then Kanan's doing the cover, and Demetrius is going to ink Kanan's cover. So it's going to be really cool. Yeah,
that'll be awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be. Kanan loves Demetrius. Demetrius has been working professionally in comics. I didn't know this. He's like 47. He's been working professionally since like 94. He told me.
Wow,
So
that's awesome.
yeah, he's been around for a minute. He's got 45,000 people following him on Instagram.
Ooh.
And so I was like, oh, okay, you can check it. But I mean, yeah, he posts some kind of spicy stuff on the page. But you know, we've had people asking us to do, you know, like little commissions, pinups and stuff, you know, and if anyone, you know, if anyone needs pinups and things of that nature, please contact me and I will make something happen for you. Yeah. But yeah, this looks interesting. This the Lost Pages looks really interesting.
Yeah, definitely a marriage of a bunch of collaborators because, you know, since they're different stories of these different heroes, you know, spanning from vastly different time periods, I wanted to do different artists for each story and get a kind of like a different theme and color style. So that's what we did. So the first one, the silhouette, is going to be drawn by Maxie Dallow, who's the artist on Jack Iron Steel Cowboy.
Oh yeah, well, I definitely know that book.
Yeah. So we have. See if I can pull up one of the lettered pages here.
Show them the logo. Show them the logo.
Yeah, I'll show them the logo.
Show them the logo.
So here's that, you know, I have put a peek up on the mailing list, but this is a fully, you know, lettered page, and the silhouette story is going to be in black and white and red. Whenever there's going to be blood, there'll be some red. So you get that real noir feel. People are being like, oh, it's very like Frank Miller-esque, Sin City. And he's a character that is very, you know, no pun intended, he's very black and white in the way he thinks. So if you're a person
racist.
So if you're a person that is, you know, a do-gooder, innocent person, he's not going to deal with you.
A POC. Yeah. You are a POC.
Exactly.
But
it's like a newspaper.
Yeah. And
is
it
actually, I meant to cut you off, but I wanted to ask: is this art being done traditionally, or is this digital art?
Yeah, this is traditionally.
Oh wow! Okay, nice. Because I love like you can do all the gray washes and all that cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. But go ahead. Like I said, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, no
I'm always curious because I love, you know, obviously I work with a very digital artist. But like it's different because Kanan's digital and Demetrius prefers. See, I was like, "Do you draw digitally?" He looked at me. He was like, "Dude, I'm not very good at that stuff." So
yeah,
I'm old school with the Bristol board and all the different inks and all that. So I'm curious about it because it looks like he can get in there and just really. That was one of the things that drew me to Carl Steffen's work, Mary Boys, when I had him on. Yeah, because he could do like the little gray washes and all that. We got to keep doing traditional comic art. I really, I really love the way the pages lay out.
I'm working at it.
So
yeah, definitely. And this, you know, this silhouette story is, you know, it has mature elements to it where we see how scummy the city he is in is and how he views the city, and he views it as this just place of blackness with small specks of light that are innocence, and though that's the why he is that's the why he is there to rid the city of scum. So, you know, there's going to be blood, violence, some prostitutes walking around and making out with people and stuff like that. So really wanted to hit this is a place of sin for sure.
It was like you need to have Chef from South Park singing this prostitute song somewhere in the page. A prostitute. I was like, but you probably get sued for copyright infringement at that point because I know the South Park people have great lawyers. They do this thing, but this is how many pages is this new book going to be? That's nice.
Thanks. Yeah. So the page counts. I think it's going to be around 52 pages.
Oh wow. Okay.
And then what we're going to do is the stretch goals are going to add 4-page short stories every time we hit a stretch goal. So I have these short stories that are kind of like trailers for the characters. Just I would practice writing short stories for them to get their voices in my head, so I knew how they would act in different situations, stuff like that. So those stories are completely done already. So if we can hit some stretch goals, we can make the book even bigger and just throw them in there for sure.
Looking forward to that for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let me okay, so you got your mailing list and you work, and again, I really like this image here. I don't know what this is. So
Oh yeah, this is going to be kind of like a splash panel. We're just using it for promo stuff right now, but I hooked up with an artist named James McVan. I don't know if of course you're familiar with Von Klaus, but he was working.
absolutely.
He was working with Von Klaus on a book that was supposed to come out after Monster MD. It was a short book called God Gun. And he talked about it a little bit, but I think it got put on hold. So I snatched up James, and he's working on the basically in between stories, the thread with the homeless man reading from the book. So this is kind of an iconic image that I wanted to have for the launch page that sums up the whole book. You see the hobo reading from this giant magical tome as the fire rises from this trash can and kind of outlines each of the heroes' faces. Some of the heroes we won't even touch on in this book. That'll be kind of like Easter eggs foreshadowing next.
Those stretch goals.
Oh yeah, unless we hit those stretch goals.
Pointing at the camera too, doing like the finger gun thing.
Well, let me see. So okay, sounds like at least 52 pages might get expanded.
Yeah.
I'm assuming the script is already complete, or are you going to start working on it a little bit further?
I have one more story to finish, and it's the last story that we see. So the last probably 20 pages of the book, or 14 pages of the book, need to be done, but the rest of them are completed.
Okay, so you're wrapping up Magic. When do you see yourself shutting down the Magic Cop campaign?
So we're gonna ship in March, and we're gonna launch this bad boy in April. And I know it's like a lot of people, like Vinny and some others, are just keeping their other campaigns open. So we might try to do that if people still wanna get Magic Cop, because then with Indiegogo, the great thing is you could leave it up there.
Yeah, it'll stay as long as what they say. As long as you have at least one order every 6 months or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's I think it's $60 every 6 months.
Yeah, so they can. Yeah, so I've thought about. Although I thought about, I was like, oh, I could do a maybe once we ship brand, because I'll have a few extra copies. And so I was like, oh, maybe I could do that, or I could do special packages or something, and I could just let them know, hey, can we open that up, and I can just make some edits on it and swap it out or whatever, But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So okay, so you're shipping Magic Cop in March, and then you're gonna turn around the next month, and I don't know how many pages you've already, because those look really cool. So I don't know how many pages you're actually gonna. You have complete when you launch or whatever.
Yeah, we'll have a good amount. I mean, when we launch, the first silhouette story is fully done. That is 14 pages, I believe. So that's a beginning to end story there. And then I have a lot of pages that to work with. I really wanted to have some good stuff to show, even for the mailing list. As you can see, I took advantage of that whole area that they give you for that pre-launch page with this stuff. Like this Joe Ball page, he whipped this promo page for us up. This is like kind of like the mythological horror of a wild card, and his detail is crazy.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, he does. I saw that one. Like, what was it, like a double page or whatever? That big cover, I guess, for Magic, not for Magic Cop, for
Super Harem cover.
Super Harem, and and I was like, my God, there were a few ink pens that died for in service to the comic gods.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, let's just look at this boat. He went overboard with this one, and went above and beyond for me on this.
And that's actual inked art as opposed to digital art, which I mean, that's beautiful to me. I mean, it's a dying art form, because I think 20, 30 years. People aren't going to draw it. They'll be just drawing on their tablets and stuff. And I think that's a shame, man.
Yeah.
That's a shame. So
for sure.
I really dig this man. Well, gentlemen, we've been going for an hour. Is there anything that you would like to say to me? Because you got Magic Cop still open.
Yep.
And obviously some people might see and decide, hey, let me check out Magic Cop. Let me go ahead and get that.
Yeah, check out Magic Cop.
And I didn't know Magic Cop. I'll have to add the link to that in the description. I have the link to the pre-launch page.
Oh, cool.
Let me see. Well, I'm trying to think. I've got the pre-launch for Lost Pages, and like I said, I'll add Magic Cop back in there. Hold on, let me see. EVS nipple milk. Let me see. Kind of off topic, but when are you gonna start mailing out brand, and when you expect Way of the Gun to launch? Okay, you came in late. Let me see, because that was something I mentioned at the beginning. In fact, this Wednesday, the interior pages for brand are going to, we're running off interiors, and then we've got to do, because he was explaining to me about the Simon from Mixum was explaining to me how they do the thing. So they print all the interiors in one batch, and then so I should have, unless something goes horribly wrong, I should have brand here before the end of the month. When that happens, I've got to fly Kanan out. We're going to sign books, and we're going to launch. I was planning on launching Way of the Gun the last week of February, but if I get the book sooner and Kanan's here, we're going to launch, because we're going to launch together, while we're signing books and everything. We're going to start, because the Gemini mailers are in Nashville. We've just got to get that scheduled. They arrived, I guess, early this morning. They were in North Carolina. I don't know how Gemini does that, because I know they're based out of California, and then they sent me an invoice, and it was like $1,300, and I paid them. And then all of a sudden they sent me a tracking number, and it was already in North Carolina. So they probably have some company that they work with out there that has, so they can ship all around the country or whatever.
Yeah, probably.
Because that would suck ass to ship from California all the way to Tennessee, and then instead they're shipping from North Carolina and just bringing it to Nashville, and then they're gonna bring it to Murfreesboro. So I was like, oh, it was still $300 and something to do that, but it would have been even more to ship it all the way from California. But but I've got stuff is starting to show up, because I've got my printer, my label printer, I've got my scale, and I've got enough labels to ship out 4,000 packages. So hopefully that answers your question. And let me see, man, and let me see what he's saying. When the stars are right, they could plunge from worlds. Okay, you talking about something? I was like, okay, what's going on? But hopefully EVS and nipple milk. That is an interesting name. Hopefully that answers your question. Brandon, Phil, I will allow you guys to get the last word in here, and tell everybody to back your stuff. And
yeah, sure. Thanks for having us, Antonio. Everybody in the chat, if you guys are looking for awesome, fun comics that are coming out this year, definitely back Magic Cop. We have an amazing sketch card left on the campaign, so check that out. And thanks for all the support with everything. It's been a great ride, and this allows us to make more comics. And the next one that's coming out is the Lost Pages show, so check out that mailing list in the description below.
Yes.
Oh, and we have a YouTube channel as well. We have 2 more subs to get to 300 subs. So if you guys are interested in Comicsgate stuff, and we do updates every week on how the book is coming along, go on over to youtube.com/Zaid Comics.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, go to you guys can go to zaidcomics.com. There's just like a hub page there where you could find all of our links and our various social media outlets. And if you guys like beautiful women, you guys can go to my Patreon at patreon.com/ZaidNinja. And I have some really nice art up there, as well as the Magic Cop Underoos promo drawing that I did last night.
Underoos?
Yeah. Which might be a product on the next Magic Cop campaign. So could keep an eye out for that. But yeah, if you guys would like to help me out and my art, you could check out patreon.com/ZaidNinja. or just check out our website, and you can find all of our outlets on there too.
Well, again, I would encourage everyone listening to do so. But if for any reason you want to reach out to me, I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and right here on this YouTube channel, all at Akari Press. Whew, man, I think I got like 2 or 3 more streams coming up. I can't keep everybody. I'm trying to think. It was tomorrow. Yes, was the Swift Comics team. I think that is what they're called.
Skits.
That's what it is. I was like, Lord, I can't remember all these. Everybody's asking to come on. It's on the 12th. That's what it is. So it's Wednesday. Okay.
Cool.
So it's on the 12th. I think at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then we've got the Wrestling Council on the S&B Network, and of course, every Saturday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Sexy party.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh man, we got crazy in there last week. It was the people who really loved. They loved this past episode of Sexy Party, which I gotta finish loading up. It just takes forever. But guys, love you. Thank you for hanging out. Comics are awesome. My digital round of applause to the Diaz brothers.
Hey, thanks for having us, man. It's good to have you back here streaming.
Yeah, dude. I couldn't get anything done. I was like, everybody's like, why haven't you been streaming? Why aren't you on Ethan's channel? And I was like, do I want to stream or do I want to get the comics finished so everybody would quit bitching at me that the comics not?
I hear you, yeah.
And so I had to sacrifice some things. But now that I've got Kanan, and he's like 12 pages in on Brand Way of the Gun, and we've got colors coming and things are starting to happen, I'm like, okay, gotta rev it up because I've got like 4 or 5 campaigns I gotta promote. I gotta promote Demetrius' stuff, which, matter of fact, he's coming on the channel. There's a lot of stuff that, and then we're gonna like I said, when we're signing books with me and Kanan, I want to maybe do some live streams so you guys can talk to us while we're signing comics.
Cool.
It's gonna be cool stuff. And then Ethan obviously is doing a cover for Way of the Gun, and he's offered to help and always appreciate him. And I'm so busy. Just talking about being busy makes me tired. So it's just, but yeah, I miss doing the streams, and there were a couple of guys that had asked, hey, I don't see you streaming that much. I really could use some help. Can I come on? All right, let me set up. I'll do it for you. But obviously, I'll be in full hardcore promo mode once we launch Way of the Gun. I'm excited to see how we do and see how everything shakes out. I think we're going to have a decent launch. So I thank everyone for being here. I see so many people that I regularly see in the chat, including you guys, Zaid Comics. You guys show up to quite a few streams, and it's appreciated. And please find their channel, sub to it. Back Magic Cop. Back or at least get ready to back Lost Pages. Sign up if it seems like a lot of you guys in the chat really liked the Lost Pages, especially it seems like I people perked up like, oh, I like this look. So it hopefully people will support the Lost Pages. I was very impressed with how you guys ran the Magic Cop campaign. You're sitting there, maybe 2,000. Then about 4,000. So I was like, that's how you get it. You accumulate it a little bit at a time, and you just keep working and going on different streams and meeting more people and doing things. That's what happens. So really impressed with you guys, and I know you guys are going to have another successful campaign with the Lost Pages. Brandon, Phil, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having us. It's always awesome. The chat's always great. Great questions.
Yeah, good stuff.
Well, all right, guys. Aloha, as they say. And as the great John Malin says, flat Earth is real.
Donut.